Welcome to Urza's Brewery.
What is going on, Magic players? Today we have our Dimir Flash deck that went up the other day. We're playing our 12 Flash Matters cards. We still have our Playset the Borrower, Octopus the Destroyer to give us a bit of a Mutate sub-theme. For our Techie interaction, we're running 2 copies of Scatter, 2 copies of Negate, and 4 copies of Quench. These give us a lot of early game interaction, along with our 2 copies of Heartless Act. And then 2 copies of Shore Shark just give us a little reach for late game to get some bigger threats, or to have extra mutate options with Batra or the Octopus. For the side, we're running really just like a block of just flexible cards to swap in and out based on the matchup. The only interesting things we're running are 3 copies of Black Lance Paragons and 2 copies of Disdainful Stroke. Stroke's really bad against Teferi, but this deck has tools to stop Teferi from reaching the table or sticking around for a long time, and outside of that, Stroke is actually like a pretty decent card. Black Lance Paragon is our anti-aggro tool, and he's also somewhat useful against the cycling deck, since he trades profitably with their Fox, regardless of how big or small he is. We're going to give this deck a spin in the constructed events that they like to put out. Let's see what happens. We're going to play first. This hand's slow, but it has 2 temples to help us find other cards. I'm going to take a risk and try it out. This is definitely a ballsy keep, but if the temples show some good targets, we'll be in for a good time. That's a good start. Cutthroat's a great first start. We can put an Octopus on at turn 3 when we play our second temple. Epiphany. Our opponent might be on the Jeskai cycling deck, since they don't have a companion. I guess we'll find out. Looks like Timur. Maybe Timur Adventures? I guess we'll see. Let's get our Cutthroat down, start applying some early pressure. I think I'm in for that. We're gonna quench that. And then on our turn, we're going to make this a 3/3, putting it over. Get our cantrip, and wait and see if our opponent does anything we care about. Place a second Uro. Okay, resolves. Fatal Passage. Okay. If this Octopus Cutthroat combo, that's not going to do it. We'll make him have to chump block us here and give us the Druid. Because if he doesn't, this is going to draw us 2 cards. So he has to give us the Druid here, just for free. And we have a Negate to keep our giant threat safe. There's another Druid. At this point, really, we're looking for like a bounce spell. And there's another land. He lets that go through. That couldn't be right. Okay, whatever. It's a lot of free cards. Plays an Agent of Treachery. Well, that wasn't expected. And I didn't draw any counter spells for this. So he's going to take our threat. If I draw a bounce effect, we're still in this. I need like a Brazen Borrower. That's not. That's just another land. We gotta flood it out there, but it's all right. Okay, so he's definitely on blue, and not too many spells. So we're gonna bring in Essence Scatter and Stroke and take out our negates. Heartless Act might be okay. I don't see a lot that actually has +1/+1 counters. It's basically just a ramp deck, so we only need to make small pivots. What do we want to take out here? You cut 2 cards. You know what? Maybe we'll go. We'll go with split like this. We'll actually go back to what we had before, and we'll cut the quenches. Oops. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll swap a couple quenches for strokes since they hit different targets. And we'll cut negate entirely because it's kind of narrow. Yeah, we'll do this. There we go. That's what we're going to run with. Dispute's a good card, but he's typically going... Oh, I guess I could have brought in Disputes over... That's a mistake. I thought I'd already put those in. This is an easy mulligan. Much better. We can just bottom the Fabled Passage, which is grade 6. We actually want to hold on to the Octopus and wait to play it after the Brazen Borrower. Evolving it onto, or I'm sorry, mutating onto the Batra will give us some extra spot removal. Plays a Druid. Spin it back, no problem, no questions asked. Ooh. We could actually even go a step further here and play Night Bonder this turn. Okay, that resolves. Yeah, we're going to play Night Bonder this turn, and next turn... Oh, yeah. We're in the money. We're going to play Night Bonder next turn. We're going to play Batra for 3, and then we're going to evolve onto it for 1. And that's going to trigger the Batra. Yeah. We're going to kill the Leafkin Druid. Put it under. And we get in for 2. And now they need a hard removal spell, which they probably don't have. I guess we'll find out what they're cooking with. If we make it to game 3, I could have swore I put in the Disputes already, but I guess I didn't. So when we get to game 3, we'll swap out the Quenches for Dispute. That's an easy 1-for-1. Hopefully we don't pay for that too much. Alright, there's Uro. Get in for 5, get our extra free card. Looks like it's a land. Easy play. We have a Scatter for their big threats. Looks like they're almost Cavalier of Thorns. We're going to just counter that. Tap land, pass, our turn. Land. Puts him at 5. Another Batra. We're basically just dead to a sweeper at this point. If he plays anything else, any other like big threat, Batra's going to pick it up. Yeah, so we're going to let that resolve. He's going to take our Batra. We're going to play a Brazen Borrower. Ha! You're right, it is good game. Oh, that's right, he takes a tapped. Okay, let's fix that. We'll get rid of the Quenches, and we'll put in the Disputes. That was an easy mistake. Yeah, we'll run it like this for game 3. Like I said, the main trick to playing this flash deck, or really any flash deck, is trying to meet your opponent on tempo and trade up really high on mana efficiency. We were able to do that this game. This hand's great. This is our second black source. We've got some spells. On the draw, it's kind of lame, but Dispute gives us early protection if we need it. What's not to love? And Stroke now. Opponent's going to have a tough game ahead of him. Not impossible, but he's going to have his work cut out. Definitely. And turn. Three mana. Uro? No, leaves himself open. Let's try for the Night Bonder. This might get disputed. Yeah, it gets disputed. That's okay, though. Not too worried about it. Growth Spiral. No, I'd rather let him ramp and dispute his actual threats rather than try to slow him down. Okay, I will pass. Leafkin Druid resolves. We're just gonna let him have his mana. A lot of lands. Might build a castle. For now, we're just gonna end the turn. Plays an Omnath. That's an easy stroke. If he searches out for a dispute and gets dispute, we can dispute his dispute. Otherwise, that's an easy stroke. I just want to be mana efficient here. So we're going to bounce his Leafkin Druid and try to get the board clear. Hopefully we can find a source of card advantage. That is the opposite of a source of card advantage. That's another land. There's actually only 24 lands in this deck. We've been running a little cold on that front, unfortunately. Here, I guess we've got an island. We have 2 Swamps on Island in hand. So we have 4 and 4 of each. If we keep running lands off the top, we're going to be in a bad spot. We pretty much have to save this dispute. Honestly, we don't have a board right now, so Ancient Treachery doesn't do that much to us. Let's just dispute this. He might play a dispute back to resolve the Cavalier. That's probably what he's thinking. He almost certainly has it. That's what he's thinking about right now. Yeah. Yeah, there's his island. Places his own dispute back. That's fine. He does not hit an Uro. That's good for us. Was the big thing we're worried about. If we draw another land, we're probably in concede territory. Well, it's not a land. I'm going to start taking some damage here, but at least we can get some threats on the board. Leafkin Druid resolves. Pass, no blocks. Pass the damage. I'm going to play the Borrower out, but I'm not going to mess with the Nightbonder. If he has a final counter spell, he does. We're going to go to our turn. That's a draw off the top. We don't really have the luxury right now of trying to play around cards. If he has an answer to this, he does. I'll put it under. Let's see what we get off the top. Nightbonder. That's basically a gain 5 in this case, because we can just throw out a Nightbonder to get a Cavalier Thorns in the face if he keeps attacking. Which isn't the worst. 2 top. Yikes. Definitely not what I want to see. Another Cavalier of Thorns. Oh, I bet there's an Uro here. No, he just kept the land. That's weird. Well, we're going to take this hit. There's a Batra, so we don't really have a choice other than to do it like this. We're just going to mutate right on top. Over. We're going to eat that one. He gets to put some card in the bin on top. See what he picks. He's got a big bin. Forerunners is bad. Oh, he actually grabs the dispute. Okay. That's an interesting choice. Let's get in for 3. We're actually going to play Nightbonder here just so he can't counter a future threat. And if he attacks... Oh my god. What are the odds that he has it? There's almost nothing we could hit off the top other than a Brazen Borrower that puts us back in the game. That's a close second, but we don't have a target to evolve onto. Oh man! And I tried to put the Nightbonder into play in case I wanted to play other threats later, so he couldn't counter it with Dispute. And instead, the last card in his hand was an Agent of Treachery, so that was unfortunate, but it happens. Treachery is kind of everywhere in the game right now. I was just kind of hoping it wasn't the last card in his hand. It's alright. We'll just shake that off and go on to the next one. I guess if I was playing safe, I probably should have kept up the scatter. Just in case, since I was dead to a Treachery. But even that would have been good enough. He had 8 mana, so he plays the Treachery, I play Scatter, and then he counters it with Dispute, so it wouldn't have mattered that game. Opponent's first. This hand needs a 3rd land, but otherwise it's fine. Which means we're probably not going to find any more lands. That's usually how, like, oh, no, I stand corrected. And in fact, we're going to use Passage as our 4th land now, since... Here, another green-blue. No companion. I wonder what we're up against. Timber Adventures, maybe? Still green-blue. Maybe green-blue Flash. Might just be green-blue Flash. I guess we'll find out in a second. No, we're definitely on Temur. Right. Temur something. I'm not sure what though. Guess we're gonna find out. Opponent is thinking. Tapped, pass. I'm gonna opt to not do anything here. Wow, 3 passages. Okay, well, let's get a second Swamp for our Black Source. I'd rather try to maximize my value out of Slitherwisp than be mana efficient this game, since we're probably going to be in for a longer game. Card advantage is going to be a little more important. Plays a Scorching Dragonfire. I'm just going to let that resolve because I need to land Slitherwisp next turn. Now we do have 3 more of those guys lurking in the wings somewhere, so it's not the end of the world if we lose one. That's the difficulty with this deck, is when to let things happen and when to fight over stuff. Making better choices over counters will make a big difference in your gameplay. There's his Uro. And he can... not only has a few cards, can't escape yet. Might have an answer. Nope, doesn't have anything. I'm just going to play that. Why not? We'll get into the black source. So now, if he does something to remove Slitherwisp, we can flash out Borrower and then put an Octopus under it in response, if that's what we care about doing. Wilderness Reclamation. We're definitely going to negate that. Okay, he's going to copy. We're going to go into full control mode. So he basically uses expansion to negate that. Then we're going to use Brazen Borrower and bounce Reclamation before we go anywhere else. I'm going to submit, autopay, and he can't stop this. So this buys us basically a turn. Ooh. We'll get another black source. Because next turn we can go Slitherwisp into Brazen Borrower, and we'll draw 3 cards. And if he doesn't have something to flip the game in his favor, this game's rapidly going to come to a close off the back of Slitherwisp and Borrower. Well, we'll take what we get. Let's see what he does. That resolves. He's got to have something here. I can't imagine he lets both of these resolve. I mean, if he does, that's great. I was not expecting both of these spells to resolve. Pretty much no matter what he plays at this point, it's good for us. Let's see what kind of removal we're up against. If he plays something spot removal based, we can flash in some threats and basically just ramp up damage in response off of our wisps. Plays a Shark Typhoon. That's fine. So he's dead probably because he gets his 4/4. And now we're gonna mutate this on top. And he scoops. We're on to game 2. Alright, cool. So, Scatter's probably a little narrow. Quench is good early, but it's going to fall off. Act is definitely narrow. So we'll cut a couple Quenches, and we'll bring in... we have a lot of cards this matchup. We want it. We can cut this entirely. We have 3 Disputes. He's big. We'll go 2 Strokes. And then to keep up as the game goes along, we're going to go with 3 Thassa's Intervention. We're going to run with this setup instead. See what happens. Right back. Our opponent's going to be on the play, almost certainly, which is going to be a little difficult for us, since this is a deck that really wants to be going first. Need some black sources for Slitherwisp, but otherwise this hand's pretty decent. It's a little land light, but we're on the draw, and there's a temple. If this shows me a watery grave, or I'll take it. Perfect. This hand's great. Just like that. This hand's great. That's going to be a growth spiral. We're just going to let that... we're not going to fight over it. Yep. Sometimes you just know what they have. We'll wait for them to do something with their mana to play Nightbonder out. Struck's going to be online this game at this point. Plays out an Ambusher, that's fine. Because we can simply flash it back. Get in for 2. we can basically just keep spinning it back until we don't need to deal with it anymore. We're just going to play this out for here. Yep. And now we're going to mutate for 3, make this a big boy, put this on top, spin it back. Ooh. That wasn't a card that was on my radar. That's a good one from the opponent. Just gonna go no attacks for now. Really, we need to get Wisp online, so let's wait to see what our opponent does something. I wonder if they shadowed from being a flash deck, or from a reclamation deck to a flash deck. I wonder if they're running a side shadowboard to smokescreen. Gets that. So now we're gonna play out a Wisp, because if he does anything in response to the Slither Wisp or the Brazen Borrower on top, he doesn't get the token. He basically has to let these spells resolve. Okay, let's him resolve. I'm not sure worried about a Spiral for him to play just another land. Or an Opt. At this point, Borrower in defense is going to run us home. Unless he's got something really good. I guess we'll find out. Let's see here. He's up to 4 mana now. We'll see what he's got. At this point, we can Cutthroat, Borrower, and Hold Up Stroke, which is pretty potent. Actually, let's just start with the Borrower, or the Cutthroat. We've got lots of interaction. That'll resolve. Gets another token. Growth Spiral. We're not going to fight over that. We basically want to run his hand low, if possible. See what else he's going to try to do before going to the end of his turn. He's thinking about it. He plays an Explosion for 6. So if we counter this... trying to think here. So if we counter it, well, he's out of mana, and then I bounce the Ambusher, and he can't block, and he dies. Yep. All it takes. All right, we're 1-1. Can't be good. He's got a fucking Teferi, Ooh. He's a Lurrus deck. This probably isn't the best keep in my life, but I'm going to trust in the Temple and that we run off a couple good spells off the top. The other thing is like in a matchup like this where it's so low to the ground, I'm assuming it's low to the ground because of Lurrus. That's a great draw for a start. Oh, this is the cycling deck, I bet. Yeah, this is the cycling deck. Okay. Honestly, our matchup for this deck gets a lot better post-board. It's really bad early on. We're just going to quench that. Take 1. We have to shock in because I want to hold up Wisp. Just to be able to resolve it. If he plays a threat, depends on what the threat is, of course. No, he's gonna cycle and get bigger. Just is what it is. Memory leak. Okay. Because he has the extra land, I'm not going to go for the trade. If he didn't have his land here, I would try to trade Slitherwish for the Fox. Because the Fox is their only real way of killing you. Yeah, we're just going to put this down, and it is what it is. Okay. So at this point, we're looking for another mutate choice, or some of our other removal. A bounce spell's also not bad here. This thing's so cute. He's just so big, but he's so cute. That's going to be a lot of damage at our face. We're going to start by just playing the Batra out. Let's see what we get off it. We get a Nightbonder. That in turn draws more cards, so I don't think we can... Let's see, that puts me at... I'm going to be at 5 after this turn. I'm assuming he has 2 cycles, so I'm going to be down to 5. Alright, we're just going to get a blue source. I need this to hit one of like 2 things or else we're dead. And that is one of those 2 things. Okay. So while the shields are down, we're going to mutate for 1 less. Put this on top. We'll put this over. We're actually going to bounce the Fox and destroy the Stinger. Because the Stinger is direct damage. We have some bodies we can put in front of the Fox. And the Fox doesn't have any kind of haste threat. Now he can play Allures here. No, that's not an oops, friend. At this point, there's a lot of things that'll just drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line. He actually just cycles it away. I guess you could play Allures and then put it back into play. You might play a Zenith Flare. Oh, well. We didn't have an out to Zenith Flare if he had one. So, next game. Paragon is life gain. I mean, let's just take out the Heartless Act is really narrow. We don't want more scatters. We need to cut 3 cards. What 3 cards are we cutting? Honestly, a lot of our counters are too slow. Like, a lot of major threats kick in after they're up. So we're going to go to that. We'll keep up Quench and Negate, mostly for Flares, since they don't run a lot of lands. And maybe a random Scatter. But the big thing we're going to have now is Paragon to dive into the way of big Foxes and trade 1 for 1. Handle straight. See what our opponent goes for. The thing about this deck is that it can brick on lands really hard because it only typically run like 16 to 18 or so since you cycle so much. But sometimes you have to mulligan once or twice in your opening hand because you just don't get a hand with any lands in it. And there's the Fox again on 1. deck is always way better. And see here, case in point. Let's wait and see what he goes for. I'm going to opt to take this hit, including the 3, if he goes for the double cycle, because I want him to spin his wheels a bit. This thing will kill it no matter the size. In other words, I'm effectively trading my life for a bit of tempo, basically. Perfect. Alright, now our Knife Bonder comes down. Just going to play a Swamp, get in for 2. And now we can play a Paragon and hold up Quench and Negate, depending on what he tries to throw at us. And we'll pick back up the 3 life that we took from the Fox earlier. He plays a second Fox. We have to quench that. It's probably like the best target we can quench. We're going to hold on to the Negate to play around the Zenith Flare. That's fine. So he cycles here. And when he attacks in, we're going to play a Black Lance. Yep, perfect. Like we drew it up. This thing gets Death Touch Lifelink, so it's going to trade profitably with Fox. And puts us back at 20. We'll wait and see what our opponent does, but we can probably play Batra in response. He's trying to find another land, I bet, so he can get up to playing Luris. And this is the thing with the Cycling deck. Sometimes it just spins its wheels, because it doesn't get enough of what it needs to do its thing. Now, he found the land. And see, but here, even if he has like a 3rd Fox, which doesn't look like he does, we're just going to play our Batra. The Swamp is a little narrow. We're going to get in for 5. We can Flash Octopus at instant speed is essentially a hard removal spell. Okay, that resolves. Pass. I want to go to the end of his turn. Alright, there we are. So we're going to start by mutating. This is... If he has a 2-mana removal for Batra, this is narrow. I doubt he has 1-mana removal. He's probably trying to get his damage in while he can. That's exactly what he's doing, trying to get damage in while he can. We're just going to hold up Negate here so we don't die to put that underneath. Kills that. And we'll play the... Now we'll hold on to the Batra, just in case something goes wrong. Another blue source would be nice to free our hand up a bit. Now, the main thing he's going to go for here is going to be a Zenith Flare, but Negate's going to stop that cold in its tracks. And right now he's trying to build up as big of a flare as possible, which is probably here. We have to hold up the Negate. Well, it's a blue source. Maybe not the one I wanted for Christmas, but I'll take it. We don't need another Borrower. I guess technically I should wait to play the Temple. I might that second Brazen Bar. Wow, he lets that resolve. I'm just kind of surprised. There's the Zenith Flare. We're just going to negate that. If he has another one in his hand, he's still very much in this game. But pretty much anything else and he's out. And he's not close to the mana for a second one. And right now he's trying to find that second Zenith Flare, probably. And now he needs a land and a Zenith Flare. We're probably going to game 3. Yep, going to game 3. On play, I don't see myself really wanting to swap anything out here other than maybe one scatter for a third negate. I'm probably going to mostly use Batra and my bounces and Blackman's Paragon to remove his threats. Alright. If we win this next round, we'll break even in the event, which is really the most you ever need to ask for. Anything after that is just gravy. All right, let's see what we're playing with today. Hand needs a land or two, but so much of this deck's power comes from just pumping up Fox to a huge value. So being able to bounce it a couple of times is definitely key. But this is going to get awkward is if he plays a land and plays out the Stinger. The Stinger is actually well, he's not playing Stinger this turn. He says, oops. Maybe he forgot to play land? There's that. Let's wait and see what he plays, but it's probably Fox. Honestly, I'm just going to get rid of that while we have a chance. I know we have 3 borrowers here, but I'd rather just get rid of it. We have 4 borrowers now. Well, we can definitely run off some lands, but we're just completely dead in the water to a good Zenith Flare this game, unfortunately. Plays a Stinger. I'm gonna actually Night Bonder here, just so I can get a threat of my own on the table. There's a land. I'm gonna offer this as a trade. He probably doesn't take it. If he takes it, great. I'm not worried about it. He takes the trade. Okay. That lets me cash in basically Night Bonder as a removal spell for the Stinger, and he's already played a second one. At this point, his main out is going to be Lures to start recasting stuff, but the turn he plays Lures, we can bounce it. And make him go mana negative. Now, normally you want to use your Petty Theft before you actually play the Borrower, but honestly, this guy's just playing so much, we need to get him on like a real clock. So we're just going to play the Borrower out. And just so we can try to find more counter spells. Because Zenith Flare is already going to be pretty scary this game, and it's only going to get scarier. So we need to race through our deck to try to find a counter spell for Zenith Flare. Plays a Fry. That's okay. There's a Batra, another land. That's more or less a 1-for-1. Slightly mana negative, but... And now we can play a Slitherwisp and still hold up a bounce. The main thing that's really scary here, again, just like last time, that resolves. We're going to try to get him to counter it first, or remove it. Doesn't look like he does. Maybe there's another Fry. There's another Fry. Okay. So, again, slightly mana negative, but only slightly. And there's a Quench. That's going to be a big one for us down the road. We basically have to save this Quench for a Zenith Flare. That resolves. Just going to play that out. And again, he might have Fry number 3. He gets in for the damage. The thing here is, at this point, we can start playing out the Borrowers and do better, essentially damage per second than the Stinger can. And we can hold up Quench for invariably... Oh, okay, this is going to be our 3rd Swamp. We're going to bounce the Stinger. He might do 5 damage response, puts us at 13, but we can jam out another Borrower for a threat, and we'll have him dead in 2 turns, and he probably won't get there since we have Quench to hold up. Okay. He definitely has the Flare. He's been through half his deck. He's just looking for an opening. We have to make sure we don't provide him one. Like at any point. Okay, he plays the Stinger, so now he doesn't have the mana, so we're going to play out another Borrower. He doesn't have the mana to play a Flare, and he won't get to it this turn. If he plays a land and plays Lurrus, okay. Again, we're still on the race him to death plan. We can beat him at his own game, only slightly though. Definitely taking 5 here. Okay. The main thing to note here is that we're going to play our 3rd Borrower and now make him have to play the Zenithflare to not die, and we have Quench for the Flare. So this game should be ours. There's the Flare, there's the Quench, which we're going to hit that one, and then 3 Borrowers are going to take him out for the game. Definitely a good game. Alright, just like that, we're 2-1, which means that no matter what happens from here, we're breaking even. Actually, we're a little bit more than breaking even. We get a couple cards. Again, this deck it's not ultra competitive, but it has legs against the really competitive decks like the Cycling deck, or even the Luca decks. We might, if we're lucky, we'll get one of those matchups today. You won't like obliterate them in a matchup or anything, but you can play a game and sometimes steal matches. Another Lurrus deck. I wonder if this is another Cycling deck. We're going to go first this time. This hand's great. Whatever he's playing, it's excellent. The biggest issue with this deck's... oh no, he's on the Sacrifice deck. This might be a tough matchup for us. So we can see what comes down here. We'll pass. We're going to take the 2. If he has an oven that comes down, I want to quench it. That's a Priest of Forgotten Gods. Close enough. The main trick to this matchup against the Sacrifice is trying to stop them from getting going, because once they're going, you're not gonna catch back up. It's a really good thing that we won the dice roll out this game. We're gonna pass, take another 2. Plays a Serrated Scorpion. That's going to resolve. I don't mind a 1-2. And plays a Kroxa. I'm going to let that resolve. Batro's a little expensive for this game. Like, that's just like the long and short of it. We're going to offer him the trade, which he may or may not take. No, he takes the 3 damage. Okay. Take the 3. Stormfist Crusader. Honestly, I need the card draw as much, and I think I'm set up to race fairly well, so we're going to play this out. Since we're going to get a lot of extra cards here, and there's another land. We're going to offer with the Cutthroat. He lets it go. Okay. This is going to turn into a fast and bloody game, because I'm taking 5 here, I'm going to go down to 6. That's before he plays actual burn effects. Plays another Scorpion, that's going to resolve. swings in. We're just gonna play Nightbonder. Nightbonder can trade with Gutter Bones. We'll take 3, go down to 9. If it gets to our turn, we can play another Nightbonder out, bounce the Scorpion he has on defense, and kill him. But that's if he doesn't do anything else we actually care about. If he plays anything we care about, this gets a little harder. Call the Death Dwellers. Yeah, that we don't have a choice. We have to quench it. That's 7. Can we kill him? He's exactly not dead. Well, we're going to still get in for the damage that we can. This is going to put us at 7 and put him at 9. Puts me at 8. But the big thing here is that we can hold up interaction. Okay. We also got lucky. He definitely played it out this game. There's a Lurrus. We're just gonna scatter that. Nice and easy. Because whatever he plays next, we can quench. If we really need to. He's gonna return the Gutter Bones to his hand. And that's gonna resolve. So he swings in with just that. We're going to play out the second Slitherwisp. And then we're going to use a Pouncing Short Shark and bounce the Scorpion and hit him for game. Opponent played this game really well, actually. This was a close game. Put it over. Spin. Good game. Good game. Really good game. We're going to go on to the next one. And honestly, we don't have a whole lot for this one. We can definitely drop the gate. And we have a lot of choices here, but we'll probably just bring in 2 Paragons, just as like something to dive in front of random combats to gain us some life. But for the most part, that's what we're looking at. We don't have a lot for this matchup. The thing about this deck is that because your sideboard and your main board is basically tailored to fighting different decks, you can only be equipped to fight so many matchups. So you have to pick something to give up. And this particular build kind of gives up a lot of percentage points against the sacrifice builds. I don't think he's on Cat Oven particularly, but the Cat Oven matchup for this variation is atrocious. You can run cards like Grafdigger's Cage to help out your percentage points there if that's what you're concerned about. You know, for hand going second, this is as good as it gets. Lands and spells, love the ground, life gain, like, no counters, but we played to the board nicely. Batra for some top end. So I'm actually going to go Nightbonder into Slitherwisp. Ooh, that's not good. Now I'm looking for... I lied. I'm still going to go Nightbonder into Slitherwisp, but this turn in particular, I'm just going to come out with a black... Sure. What's the card we don't need here? Again, Batra right now, just kind of expensive. I'm going to be very dead to a shock. If he has a shock in his hand, this is bad. Resolves. Blocks. I'm going to be right back where I started. Okay. So as I was saying, this turn we're going to play Slitherwisp. Next turn we're going to play... There's the Lurrus. The pass. Ghost turn. That's probably a shock. He's probably holding a shock for a wisp. We're going to shock ourselves here so I can play Cutthroat into Nightbonder. So I can get that extra token on Cutthroat. We'll draw 2 more cards off of this. We actually might be in this game. He can play out the Butcher, but that's not a big deal. Resolves. There's the cat. Now we're on a really hard clock. Resolves. Pass to attackers. Given what we're cooking with, I'm gonna trade off the Night Bonder here. We might actually get him just off the back of some Slither Wisps and a soon-to-be very pumped-up Cutthroat. We might steal this match. Because he can keep playing out the Butcher, but like at this point, like, it's just a recursive 1-1 that I'm going to block with a Cutthroat. Plays another cat. Resolves. Okay, so we're going to play out a Wisp. And then we're going to play out, and we're going to mutate, turn this into a 5-5. Put it over. Now it's a 5-5. Block. We're going to go to 13. Okay. Well, I think we're just gonna literally flash our opponent to death. I don't think we can lose with a third Slither Wisp. We're just gonna cheat our opponent out of the game. I might be speaking too soon. Resolves Kroxa. I'm actually gonna discard the Watery Grave and take the damage here. Plays a second Kroxa. Okay. Resolves. I'm going to discard the Quench this time. Pass to attackers. Let's see what he hits us with. Might be nothing. We're going to play out the Slither Wisp. Just a bunch of stuff. Play out the Cutthroat. Oh my god, we got the fourth one. I don't think we can lose from here. What, like, that's what, 257? Yeah, I think we win this turn. We're gonna attack. Our opponent's gonna set up some blocks. That's all he's blocking. So he's gonna go up to 8. So we're just gonna go here and hit him for 3. There. And we're gonna be professional and say good game because we cheesed this with 4 Slither Wisps. We just got very lucky. And then we're gonna bring out a Brazen Bar. We don't even get to combat. Alright, we cheese that game out. That's one of the advantages to the black-blue variant over the black-green variant, is Slither Wisp can, that was an unusually good example, but Wisp can give you a lot of reach. And this is what I was talking about, we paid 1,000 gold to get into this, but if you look, we're up to already 1,500 rewards, so even if we lose our next match, we're, you know, we had a positive win rate, we made some money. Playing a good variety of decks. Finding a rat thing. Obviously means he's a Rakdos player. And then he's got Teferi as his avatar. Seems a little confused, but let's see what he's packing. There we go. Yorion. Okay, so this is a tough match. Like, to be clear, the Yorion, I'm assuming this is Yorion Luca. Almost certainly Yorion Luca. Like, these matches are hard. I think I'm just in for a good spell. So there's a good chance we lose this game. But what's important is that we have legs and have a chance to win. This isn't like a super, like, ultra competitive deck, but you can still play games against the really super competitive decks. And that's what's important. Resolves over to the sea. We're just going to let that happen. Again, in turn. Okay, we're going to try to resolve a Nightbonder. Probably gets counterspelled or dies in some way. No, resolves. That's interesting. I really wasn't expecting that to stick. We're just going to grab an island. Oh my god, I hit the wrong button. Hopefully our opponent doesn't win by 2 life. But we're just going to remember that. I hit the wrong button. So if he wins by exactly 2 life, we won this round. I mean, it happens. It's playing digitally. You click the wrong button sometimes. It's a thing. I'm expecting his next turn to simply be land into fires, which we're going to quench. There's a Fable Passage to get him the land for fires. He doesn't play it. We're going to present him with Cutthroat. He has the land to make a token, so it's important we don't just like play into that. So I'm only going to attack with the Nightbonder here in case he wants to crack passage and make a token. Effectively just trading mana for the Cutthroat. It'd be mana positive on my end, but I would rather make him just make a token and eat the or trade with the Nightbonder. Or I should say chump the Nightbonder. Oh no, he goes for the 2/2. Okay, so we're gonna resolve that. And we're just going to mutate this over and spin that. So where this goes sideways is... there's a few ways this goes sideways, frankly, because our shields are a little down right now. Shadow of the Skies at least draws us a card. He's shocked. Might be Luca. Might be playing Luca here out. Or playing Luca out here. No, plays a Narset. See what he's fishing for. Probably fires. Kind of an unusual build so far. Not really what I was expecting. No fires, no Teferi. It's been good for us. This card in particular, Shark Typhoon, is part of why you don't want to board out all of your removal. Because if you do, you're going to be stone dead to eventually some pretty big creatures. Okay, so we're going to send the Shark here and just get in for 2.
Still have much to learn.
The 0/4 wall's not a huge deal because he's going to have to trade out with the Shark and we'll get it for 2. A lot about this, there's Luca. Okay, so we're going to let Luca resolve. He's going to down tick on the wall, and in response we're going to Heartless Act the wall and then kill Luca. Yep, there we go. Like we drew at a creature with no counters. Max is a 5/4. So his ability fizzles. Yeah, or pass 2 attacks. We'll jam this out because we can. It makes our batch rate even cheaper. I guess we'll just grab, like, I don't know, an island. There's a quench. Okay, so we're gonna go up here. If we win game 1, we can win game, like, we have a good chance to win this match. Like I said, sometimes this deck just steals games against this version of the deck. The main thing we're expecting my opponent to do is play a land and hard cast a Agent of Treachery, but if he does that, Quench eats it. There's a Shadow of the Sky. We have lethal on board, so we're going to fight over this. If he plays another counter, we can quench it again and win the game. Or if he pays the mana, then we quench it a second time. So either way, of course, alternatively, you can let it resolve and we'll go from there. But I'm pretty certain the double quench here means we win. Yeah. Alright, on to game 2. So game 2, quench comes out. Scatter comes down. We're going to go in all of our disputes. No, we'll just lose scatter entirely. We're going to lose all of our disputes to... Oh. And then we're going to lose... This is the only thing where it's a little awkward, is fitting in what to cut here. I don't want too many. We have a lot of interaction. I'm gonna cut a single octopus, which I know is kind of a weird choice, but we're playing a really long game, so I'm expecting to not need as many. Normally, I don't like cutting like the core cards of this deck, but I think that's what's right for this particular matchup. We just want to have as much interactivity as possible. Oof, that's an easy mulligan. We only have one land. The spells on this land are actually pretty good, but much better. We'll keep and bottom a Batra. We don't have a lot of really early interaction, but this deck doesn't do anything really early, so that's not a big deal. Let's see here. Am I in for a Borrower? I would love a Brazen Borrower. Borrower is great in this matchup because whenever they try to use Luca, you can use Borrower to simply bounce whatever their target is. Or you can use it to bounce targets that Yorion is trying to move away. Blue, white, okay. I'm gonna go shields down here. If our opponent plays something with exactly really just a Teferi. If our opponent plays a Teferi right here is where this gets awkward. Don't care about Omen of the Sea. But yeah, if he... Two top. Yeah, if he plays a land, plays Teferi, like, this hand becomes really bad really fast. There's the Time Raveler, everyone's favorite.
Stand by and watch. That's more like it.
We're just gonna have to try and play through it. But frankly, this card completely hoses us. In fact, probably for game 3, I might put some quenches back in as just extra interaction. I might go all in on counter spells. And trim some of the top end a bit. He's missing a color. That's the only thing we have really going for us. Okay, we're just going to play Nightbonder. Yeah, honestly, if I could ban one card from Standard, it would probably be Time Raveler. Like, not even remotely kidding. It's just super unfun to play against, and it hoses so many decks. And removing Time Raveler makes Stroke a much better card. The only reason we get around with running Stroke is that Stroke is like counterspell like 11 for us. For decks that aren't high on counterspells already. Stroke's like a really ambitious card choice. There's that.
I've got time.
Yeah, you've got time, we know. God, there's just a ton of things that were like... There's a Fires, okay. There's Narset. I don't even know... Fourth land. Okay. We're actually going to hit that and then play out the Batra. Honestly, we're almost certainly dead. The only reason being is that if he tries to spin, it kills the Teferi. But, like, he could just spin it and then play a second one, we'd be dead. There's a lot of ways that we're just dead on this round. And we have to try to win game 3. There's a Luca. That won't do it. He doesn't have a monster yet.
Dissenters are welcome to debate me in battle.
Oh, no. That's... On to game 3. I think we're gonna cut just the 2 acts for just 2 more negates. I think that's the change we're gonna make. And Shore Shark is gonna come out for 2 copies of Quench. We're just gonna try to see what happens. Just jam the deck full of like really cheap counter spells and go first, and tempo our opponent out. Definitely play first. Not the best keep of my life, but we have to try. Well, he mulligan once, which is good for us. I'm just going to play a Fable Passage and grab a Swamp and pass. I could have played Passage there and grabbed an island, but goes with Birth of Meletus. Yeah, probably should have played the Passage there and just grabbed an island, but maybe I'll draw a land. Drawing a land would be nice. All right, well, I did say a land. I guess I deserve that. Island next, end turn. And see, he's just gonna like jam a land and play Teferi here. And we can bounce the wall in response, but oh no, he doesn't. Okay. Get sort of the token. 5 lands is plenty, so I'm gonna try to get 1 more land out of the deck. Passage number 4. Pass. End of the turn. He gains 2 life, but whatever. Omen the Sea. Just a Yorion target, essentially. The thing to be wary of here is that if he gets a second blue source, he can play Teferi and then hold a Dispute, and that would leave us wide open. Would not be a good look. And in fact, if he does get that, I'm probably going to opt to play out a Batra and have it get spun back. That's a blue source. Pass. We'll try to play out the Batra, see what happens. I'm anticipating a counterspell. Resolves. Okay. This gets a little better for us. Since we're going to hold on to the octopuses as removal spells first, and card draw second. Okay, Omen of the Sun, that's fine. Pass, end turn. Again, we can win the race against some random tokens, that's not a big deal. I'm anticipating what's going to happen. He's going to play a land and play Luca and try to spin this into an Agent of Treachery. And in response, we can just play out an Octopus and pop it, if that's what he does. We'll just take the hits here. Let's get some card draw going and kills one, still saves up a removal spell. We want to remove at least one of these tokens. And we can still hold up a counterspell, and it resolves. We'll just eat a token because we can. Our turn. I'm anticipating this is going to be, I make a 3-3. Yeah, this is where he makes a 3-3. That's going to resolve. we're just going to bounce it and hold on to our other options. Hit him. We draw a card as well. It's land, put it into play. These matchups are tough, and they're really difficult because just one bad mistake and you're completely out of the game. Deafening Clarion. We're gonna make him. He only has 2 mana left. We're gonna make him have the counter spell. If he has a 1 or 2 mana counter spell as well, which he might, they do run some. Nope. Okay. Another Birth of Meletus, that's fine. Take it to our face. Quench, that's good because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next turn, if he tries to play Agent of Treachery and just hard steal our Sting, we have an answer for that. If he plays Luco, we can use an Octopus and pop the Human Soldier instead. Plays a Shatter the Sky. That will resolve. Okay, we're just going to get in for this much this way. He's down to 4. He's up to 6 because of Meletus. We have 6 damage in hand, so if he plays a wipe, we probably just let the wipe happen. Yeah, we just let this happen. Because we can just play 2 more, we can just play out 2 more threats. Passive attackers, play out 1. Play out the bat. Do we get him? Like I said, this deck isn't super competitive, but sometimes you can just steal a match. Alright, last game. Opponent is on Luris. This hand is terrible. Ooh, not much better. I don't know what we bottom here. I think we're just gonna bottom a passage. No, because we're just gonna bottom a passage. And hope that between the temple and our draws that we can just hit regular lands. Pretty much anything within a land at that point is going to go at the bottom. Oh, they're on the Night build. The Night build, this is another deck that's been kind of skirting around. We're going to just opt to kill this now before this gets out of control. Out of the Ebon Legion, okay. Place a Vanguard, okay. Crack this. Yeah, this deck is just like so incredibly low to the ground. It's hard before pre-board stuff. Like a lot of our 2 mana counter spells are like almost just not good enough practically. So we're gonna take 3, and if he pumps, then we're gonna. No, he doesn't pump. Okay. So we'll just settle for 3. Now we're just gonna play out the Nightbonder. Grab this. I guess we'll get another island. We're definitely on defense this game. Opponent's opening hand looks like it was pretty good. We had a mulligan to something that was a little slow. Okay. So simply because it gains its tempo, We're going to go to blocks. We're going to block the knight. When he pumps, we're going to spin it back. And then when it comes down, we're going to kill it with an Essence Scatter. Oh, he doesn't even bring it down. In that case, we're just going to play out a Brazen Borrower. This might be getting shocked. It's probably a shock, but... We're going to swing it in the air and hold this on the ground to block. We're going to mutate this for 1. Put it under and get some card drawing. We could have played the Slither first for an extra card, but frankly, holding up counter spells is a little bit more important in this matchup. Just like the honest truth of the matter. Plays a Venerable Knight, okay. Knight of the Ebon Legion. That also resolves. Let's see what he attacks with. Man, he's going in. I figured he'd leave this back to try to block and hold the Borrower off so I don't draw more cards, but... Alright, we're going to eat some of his 1/1s. Very ambitious. Plays a Lurrus. Okay. If we can get a land off this Borrower, we're in a great... an untapped land. We're actually not in a halfway bad spot. That is an untapped land. We're going to play that. We're just going to evolve and make this a flying threat. And we're going to kill the Lurrus as well. Okay, he plays the Fighters one. Gets the card out of his hand at least. Plays an Unbreakable formation. That's a good card to main board. Alright. So... block here. Force. 2, 5, 7, 11. It's exactly 11. I'm just going to opt for the 2 biggest... I'll give up the Nightbonder. Oh, he can pump. That might be lethal. I thought he had 2 mana left. He has 3. Shore Shark is way too slow. I'm gonna cut that card out. Heartless Act would have been great earlier. Even Batra's like a little slow. And then we're just going to bring in 2 more scatters and a negate. We're just going to... Normally we wouldn't bring out these like... Oh yeah, and we have Blackman's Paragons. That's kind of a big deal. Paragon's a big deal. Negate's probably too cute. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that. Normally I wouldn't cut a key card like this, a Batra. But it was good that game. But in general, it's just too expensive. Play first. Great opening hand. Keep. No thought required. Might of the Ebon Legion. Play it. If he swings with the Knight, I'm definitely going to try to bring on the Nightbonder. We're just going to make him have something. Otherwise, we'll eat it. Again, he can play like a fight as one here, and we're basically trading Cutting Knife Bonder for fight as one, which isn't the worst trade. Yeah, there's the fight as one. Not the worst trade on the planet. Inspiring Veteran. We're just going to quench that. Being unable to use the extra mana we have in our hand hurts a little bit, but take it. And again, we're going to wait and see what our opponent does. He's probably going to swing and not pump, instead want to play the Lurrus. If he does that, we're going to opt to play out Batra. If he pumps, he is pumping. Now we're going to make him have to have a second fight as one, and he doesn't. That's a big tempo gain for us. Plays the Venerable Knight. Okay. I also grab the island. Another Knight of the Ebon Legion, that's fine. That resolves. We're going to take 2 here. We can use Batra and put an Octopus on top and kill an Ebon Legion and then get in for damage. And if he plays Lurrus, then we'll do that instead. Just goes to turn. Not even worth thinking about. Yeah, this game looks a lot better for us. We're both low resources, but we have answers for his. Draws a card. Perfect. Take the hit. Another land. There's the Lurrus. We're just going to scatter that. Easy. Another Batra. If we can get a land, this Batra is going to be insane. Not quite a land, but it's a good second. We can play out a Night Bonder and then play a Paragon into that and still hold up removal. Okay, there's a 1/1. He attacks. Let's see who he pumps. He's going to pump that. Again, we can just block here. Take 3, no problem. Eat his creature. Yeah, this game he's just been completely tempoed out of the game. Yep, on to game 3. Honestly, I'd probably run exactly this, run it right back. Cross our fingers we get a really good opening low to the ground hand, and maybe he has to mulligan. But honestly, him winning the dice roll for this round is a big deal. This deck doesn't like going second. But hey, 4-2 is not bad. And who knows, we could win this next round. Could happen. This is not the worst hand I've ever kept. The Cutthroats can come off the board. Yeah, see, not close. We're just going to play a Heartless Act. Kill this before we get a bunch of tokens out of it. Not even, like, close to a consideration. If our opponent plays his Lurrus right now, we're just going to... No, okay, he's not doing that. Another Knight. Okay, we're just going to end our turn. Plays a Blacklands Paragon. That's okay. It's going to put us down to 9. Unless he does something really crazy, we're going to play out our Night Bonder and just take the 9. We're basically looking for him to play some kind of pump. Otherwise, we're just going to take it. Another Venerable Knight. That resolves. Our turn. These things all become 1-drops. My turn. I'm just gonna grab an island. Okay. So. These things are gonna become huge. What is it? Dire Tactics. We're gonna play one Cutthroat right now. And let that resolve. Okay. We're gonna play our own Blacklands Paragon. And simply just crash. Going up to 6. There's his Lurrus. Doesn't have a 1-drop. This is going to be hard. Like, this game's not in a good spot, but it's not unwinnable either. Pass, let's see what he swings at us with. Swings with a bunch of 2-1s. That's fine. He's going to pump the big one over here. He makes that knight huge. Oh. Yeah, they got us. That game looks a lot different if we goes first. Still, 4-2 and a really close finish, almost a 5-1 finish. Still, this is a pretty good showing. We played a variety of decks.
So much to do, so much to see. I'm fired up.
Alright, that's going to do it for us. Till next time, folks.